Imagine like spending an entire year sketching, sourcing these high quality textiles and, practically bankrupting your own savings to debut this stunning new dress on a Tuesday runway.
Oh, yeah. The stress of that is just, it's immense.
Right. But then by Thursday morning, a massive factory halfway across the world has already reverse engineered your runway
Yep.
photos.
They just feed them right into a predictive trend algorithm.
Exactly. And suddenly they're manufacturing thousands of cheap, like polyester copies to sell for $12 a pop. I mean, it's a perfect heist. And the craziest part, it might be perfectly legal.
Yeah, and the terrifying part is that their getaway car isn't some, matte black van idling in an alleyway.
Hmm.
It is a highly optimized global supply chain that moves, well, it moves way faster than the legal system ever could.
It really does. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are thrilled to have you with us because today we are heading straight into a high stakes battleground. We're exploring the collision point where pure artistic vision smashes right into ruthless mass production.
It's a brutal collision, honestly.
Totally. The sources we're analyzing today map out this startling reality where independent designers and legacy fashion houses pour their hearts, their capital, and countless hours into unique collections, only to watch massive fast fashion retailers swoop in and hijack those looks in a matter of days. It is just a stunning asymmetry of effort.
I mean, you really have two entirely different ecosystems clashing here.
Yeah.
On one side, you have independent creators,
Yeah.
right? And they're operating on the timeline of art and craftsmanship.
Okay. Slow and deliberate.
Exactly. But on the other side, you have these corporate giants operating on the timeline of an algorithm where, speed to market is literally the only metric that matters.
Which brings us to the shield that creators try to use to protect themselves. We're looking at a concept today called fashion law. And to set the stage for you, I want to ask, how do we even define that?
Right, because it sounds kind of made up.
Yeah, it sounds like a niche elective at law school or something, but our sources show it's a very real, very heavy legal framework.
Well, what's fascinating here is that fashion law isn't just one single monolithic statute you can look up in a book somewhere.
Okay.
It is a massive, complex umbrella. It's a specialized field that sits right at the intersection of several intense legal disciplines.
So what are we talking about mainly?
We are talking primarily about intellectual property, but it forcibly pulls in business law, consumer protection, employment law, sustainability regulations.
No, it's huge.
Yeah, and international trade, too. It represents the entire legal ecosystem required to protect the designers, the manufacturers, the retailers, and ultimately, you, the consumer.
Okay, let's unpack this because I think I have a way to visualize it. If you think of the creative world as a living body, fashion law is basically its immune system.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So the original ideas, the sketches, the unique textiles, those are the healthy cells. And without an immune system, those healthy cells just get devoured by the fast fashion copycats.
Or acting like a virus.
Exactly. They act like a virus, replicating endlessly until the original host is just completely depleted of its resources.
The biological analogy works perfectly because, honestly, the virus of imitation in this industry is incredibly aggressive. Fast fashion doesn't just, borrow an idea.
No, not at all.
Right. It completely overwhelms the host's ability to survive in the marketplace.
Right. And now that we've established what fashion law is, we need to understand exactly what it is protecting designers from. What is the actual anatomy of a fast fashion ripoff?
Yeah, that's a crucial distinction to make.
Because looking at the sources, we aren't just talking about being vaguely inspired by a general vibe or, I don't know, a seasonal color palette.
No, not at all. The source material draws a very hard line on the ethical and legal concerns here. We are talking about literal replication.
Like exact copies.
This is about a fast fashion brand buying a luxury handbag, physically dismantling it, and clipping the exact dimensions, the weight of the hardware, the precise stitching patterns.
That's just wild.
It is. Or it's mimicking highly specific, structurally complex shoe silhouettes. Or taking an original textile print, something an artist painstakingly painted and digitized over hundreds of hours, and just scanning it to reproduce on low-quality fabric.
And the sources even mentioned them copying whole collections, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
In extreme cases, they copy entire apparel collections piece by piece, right down to mimicking the typography on the original designer's tags.
Jeez. It's essentially counterfeiting operating in this strange, gray area of mass retail.
Pretty much.
But let's dig into the why. Why does this matter so much? Because a skeptic looking at this might say, well, it's just clothes.
Right, who cares?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it matters because of the real-world cost to innovation. When a fast fashion company rips off a design, they aren't just stealing a shape. They are stripping the financial value and the exclusivity from the original creation.
Making it essentially worthless.
Exactly. For an independent designer, their revenue and their reputation are entirely tied to their originality. If a consumer can suddenly buy a near-identical knockoff for $20, it completely destroys the designer's ability to sell their piece for the $200 it actually costs to ethically produce. It dilutes their brand equity overnight.
I hear that, but let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
Because a huge part of the fast fashion appeal is the price tag, right? And isn't affordability inherently good for the consumer, democratizing style so you don't have to be a millionaire to participate in a cultural trend?
That's a really common pushback, and the text explicitly acknowledges that argument. Affordability absolutely benefits consumers in the short term, allowing broader participation in fashion.
Right. Everyone gets to wear the cool jacket.
Exactly. But you have to weigh that against the long-term systemic cost. When you allow unchecked replication, you are effectively punishing innovation.
Because why would anyone bother creating something new?
Precisely. If designers know their work will be stolen immediately and they have zero recourse, the financial incentive to create new, original things just vanishes entirely.
And there's an environmental angle too, isn't there?
Oh, massively. The business practices required to churn out those hyper-cheap, rapid-fire copies rely on supply chains that raise huge concerns regarding labor exploitation and environmental sustainability. So that affordability, it comes at a very steep, often invisible price.
It's the classic race to the bottom. So, because fast fashion moves at this breakneck speed, designers can't just rely on the honor system.
Definitely not.
They need concrete legal weapons to fight back. They need an arsenal. So let's start with copyright. Now, we know how this protects like a 2D fashion illustration or a photograph, but applying it to the physical garment is where designers always hit a brick wall. Walk us through the useful article doctrine.
Yeah, this is one of the most frustrating friction points in fashion law. Copyright is designed to protect original artistic works.
Right, like a painting or a song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the law generally views clothing as a useful article. It has a utilitarian function, keeping you warm, protecting your body from the elements. So the legal framework dictates that you cannot copyright the concept of a sleeve, a collar, or a pant leg because humanity fundamentally needs those functional elements to exist.
Wait, so the actual structural shape of the dress isn't protected by copyright at all?
Usually no, but there is a workaround called conceptual separability.
Conceptual separability. Okay, what is that?
Basically, if you design a highly original decorative floral pattern and print it on that dress, that specific 2D floral pattern is protected by copyright.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, if you can mentally separate the artistic element from the functional element, the art is protected. So the print on the fabric is safe, but the functional silhouette, the garment itself, is entirely fair game for copycats.
So copyright guards the print, but it leaves the brand identity totally exposed. Like if someone perfectly legally copies the shape of your jacket and then slaps your specific brand name on it to trick people into buying it, copyright won't save you.
Nope, not at all.
Which means designers have to rely on the next tool, trademarks.
Right. Trademarks step in to protect the things that tell the consumer who made the product.
Like the logo.
Exactly.
Yep.
Brand names, logos, slogans, distinctive labels, and even specific product identifiers. The whole goal of a trademark is just to prevent consumer confusion.
Makes sense.
If you see a specific interlocking logo on a shirt, the trademark ensures you can trust that it actually came from that specific luxury house. Strong trademark registration is the absolute bedrock of long-term brand recognition.
Trademarks do a great job protecting your logo and that trust, for sure. But what happens if a copycat strips your logo off but steals the exact, fundamentally unique physical shape of your new shoe?
Yeah, that's the nightmare scenario.
Because a trademark won't save you there, and we already know a copyright won't cover a useful article like a shoe.
Right. And this is exactly why designers have to look to the third pillar, which is design patents.
Okay, design patents. How do those bridge the gap?
Well, they safeguard the unique visual appearance of a product. Not how it works, but strictly how it looks. They are incredibly valuable, particularly for luxury handbags, designer footwear, and jewelry. If you create a totally unique ornamental shoe shape, a design patent gives you exclusive rights to that visual appearance for a limited period.
But there is a massive friction point here, right? The timeline mismatch.
Well, it's brutal Because the legal system does not move at the speed of fashion.
Not even close.
Securing a design patent involves this rigorous examination process that can take 18 months or sometimes over 2 years.
2 years. But fast fashion can rip off a runway look and put it on a clearance rack in, what, 3 weeks?
Exactly. By the time the independent designer's patent is finally approved by the government, the trend cycle is already over. The copycat has already made their millions and moved on to the next victim.
Wow. So it